Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Pelicans Insider. You know, it's no secret that a lot of players have very strict pregame superstitions, certain rituals they always have to follow. But how about your announcers? Well, that's certainly the case here in New Orleans. One trio of Pelicans broadcasters has their own pregame ritual that's probably as much fun to play as it is to watch.
It's just fun. You know, you come out here and you shoot a hook. So one of us came out here, we shot a hook, and then the other two kind of got in, and then it became a competition. Rules maker, Kelley, started making different rules. The rules have come and gone, so now it's just make it. And we all like to make it, and all three of us like to make it each game.
Yeah, no, it's a great night when all three of us make it. That's like the perfect way to start the broadcast. Now, here though of late, whoever's last is usually shamed a little bit.
I took 18, that's my mark, and I got tendonitis now.
So there is still that competitive edge.
Let's go, JD. I didn't feel that either.
But it's amazing now that we've done this as long as we have, that if you don't hit your hook shot, you're not in a very good mood going into your broadcast, as strange as that may sound.
If you ain't first, you're last, but if you're last, sometimes you're first.
If you're not first, you're last. That's one rule. And also, it's not like we all just started this together. He started it. David started it now because he's got that honey badger in him where he just threw up some shots and he was like, come on guys, come on. So we jumped in, and it's only fun, it's really fun if you make yours before he makes his. Because he's the NBA guy and we're just two jokers off the street. So if we make ours before his, that's a good night.
First one.
No, they're all difficult. I mean, you're shooting a 30-foot hook shot. It doesn't matter if it goes in straight or off the glass. We talk trash each and every shot, and you don't want to be last.
A lot of this started with telling the story about Thunder Dan Marley used to sit on the stools for their pregame, and he'd shoot it over his shoulder from about the same distance. And then David said, well, we can do that in our own way. So like guys like Bully and them, they jump in with us from time to time. We try to do this every game, every arena. Some arenas are more cool about it than others. But here at home, it's tradition.
We probably shot the hook shot maybe 3 times, but I don't know how that turned out. Matt Bullitt went out there and shot an underhand, so then me and Kelley went out there and shot our hooks, and we'd already made it from our 30-foot spot. Then we went to half court, and I was able to join the fun and make it from half court. That guy over there, not so much.
How come, what I want to know is this, how come whenever David hits his hook shots, the crowd cheers? And then when John and I hit ours, it's kind of like, eh. Is that because they expect it from us?
See, here's the
or
thing.
What's the deal?
Here's why. John, as of late, has been hitting his first. Nobody's been paying attention. So now they see one go in, there's a little spatter, and then I'm always second. The fans are paying attention now. And then you're last, and you may or may not make it. They've already lost interest. They've already went up and got some popcorn.
Let's go.
See where this is going, right? You see why whenever we beat him, it's cause for celebration?
He said that
Yes.
really good.
And now we get to visit with the one and only Kelley. All right, you got to explain to me, how did this tradition start, and how do you actually describe that brand of basketball, shall we call it?
We call it obnoxious, probably. And I'm probably the most unathletic hook shot you've ever seen in your life. But kind of as David was talking about, we had talked about some other guys that would throw a trick shot or two before a game. And so, of course, we felt like, well, that seems like fun. Let's do that for us. And then one game led to another and another and another. And I think we're probably in our second season now of doing that. Probably some would rather us not, but we have a good time.
It's tradition now, so if Pelican fans get to the game early enough, they can witness this wonderful spectacle.
As soon as Tyreek Evans gets finished with his warm-ups, he's the last Pelican on the floor for pregame, and then we get out there and have a little fun.
Now, speaking of fun, you are the longest tenured broadcaster with the Pelicans. You date back to the Hornet days, Oklahoma City during Katrina. Could you choose a favorite memory in covering this team, this franchise for that long?
Wow, probably favorite players for sure. Anthony Davis is now on that list, but you know, I've been very fortunate. I think there may be only 1 or 2 players that I haven't enjoyed being around. And so guys like Chris Paul and David West and Tyson Chandler, and I could go on and on. Ryan Bowen was here the other night. It was good to see him too. I think I'd probably treasure the players more than anything else, but I will say this. I think that season that we came back from Oklahoma, and the team really took off, which was the 07-08 season, and made that deep playoff run. Not only was it great to be back home, it was great to bring a good basketball team back to the city, but also knocking out Dallas in the first round after the Mavericks had gotten us so many times was also pretty sweet. So that's probably, I guess, at the top.
Now, Pelican fans can listen to you in a variety of places. On the radio, you are the play-by-play voice, and you get to work with John DeShazer. What is game day like for you?
Game day is just like I think anybody else who has to work the game itself, and whether that's players, coaches, television broadcasters, or radio broadcasters. I think there's a certain routine that we all like to keep. I think we're all kind of creatures of habit in some form or fashion, and with that, we go through this process of preparing for the night. So whether it's about the opponent or what's the latest on the Pelicans, we want to make sure that we're up and ready on anything that can happen. And generally what happens is a lot of the stuff that you prepare for may not even make the air, but yet it's a part of your process of getting ready to go, and then enjoy it. And I think that sometimes some forget that we're here to entertain. And as serious as we are about basketball, this is also about making somebody's night or being with somebody, in my case on the radio. So I want to be someone that they want to have a conversation with, even though it's rather one-sided on the radio. And I also want to be somebody who can share their Pelicans experience with them when they can't be at the game.
I love that. That's so well said. Now, you also do some play-by-play for the Saints preseason games, and you cover the Saints quite a bit through the Black and Blue Report. Explain to folks a little bit about what that is and where they can catch it.
Well, Dennis Lausche and Doug Tatum both came up with this idea of doing a podcast that would satisfy both Pelicans and Saints fans and really kind of take advantage of this very unique situation of an NFL and NBA team being owned by the same family, Mr. and Mrs. Benson. And so that's what we've done with that podcast, is we try to take a little bit of our inside access, use of our connections, and the fact that both locker rooms are just down the hall from our studio, and try to deliver something daily that they may not be able to get otherwise in the local media. So it's a little more loose than maybe you'd get used to, of a traditional media. So we have some fun with it. And I never thought when I got into this that I would get the chance to work both the NBA and the NFL, and it's been a really exciting opportunity that I've been given over the last couple of years.
And you're so good at it. It's definitely an asset to the city and for sports fans. Where can folks find the Black and Blue Report if they, for some reason, haven't already?
It's gotten to be like radio. There's so many different ways you can do it now. I remember when I first started in broadcasting, it was on the radio station, and there you go. Well, now, just like radio, these podcasts can be found all over the place, and specifically with Black and Blue Report at Pelicans.com, NewOrleansSaints.com. Both teams now have these tremendous mobile apps. You can listen through those apps, and we also find a lot of listeners via iTunes, which is free, and I think that most people like the fact that they can just hit the button, it'll download a subscription, and that's where a lot of folks catch it too.
Sean Kelley, thanks so much for your time, and have a great call tonight.
I appreciate it very much.
Coming up next on our show, a look back at the top plays of this week, plus a look ahead to next week's schedule.